In this lesson, we're going to look at traversing through the DOM. So in the last lesson, we saw how we can find all the inputs, but this doesn't always give us necessarily all the information that we're looking for within this input. So what I'm going to do right now is that I'm going to just show you what we're pulling back from this. So whenever we click it, and I still need to put a real email address in there, so specify, and we can see that this is the information that we're picking up from the DOM within this. And you can see here we've got a whole bunch of information here. So we've got things like we've got the child nodes, so we don't have any children there. We do have some additional information, so we've got the last child, but we do have some interesting ones down here. So I know there's quite a lot here to look at, but we've got a parent element. So we can get a parent node, so information on that. So what if we wanted to actually update the parent, add in a class or something like that? And JQuery makes this really easy. We've also got previous sibling, so we've got our next sibling as well, and so on. So we can traverse through all the different items. So we see we've got our next sibling here, and our next sibling has some content in here, and so on, length. So quite a lot of information to pick up. So let's first try by looking at what we get back from the current parent. So we'll just do this in parent. And what parent does is, so notice there's a difference between parent and parents. So it gets the parent of each element in the current set of matched elements, and we'll just see, we'll get the parent there, parent value. So that's just brackets, adding in extra brackets for me there. So let's refresh this, and I'm probably going to have to change this just to be a text or put a default value. So now we can see that we're getting the parent value here, so we're getting div row. So we're not actually looking at the child, but or the current one. We're looking at the parent. So this, if we wanted to update or add a background color, so they could do that as well. So maybe what we'll do is we'll add a background color to that. So first, I also want to add in a default value for the email, so I don't always have to keep typing an actual email. So there's a default value for the email. So there is a distinct difference between parent and parents, so I'm going to show you that as well. So quickly show you what the difference there is. So now whenever we hit it, we see that, so first we get the parent of the first one, and now we get the parents. So we've got different parents here. We've got all the way up to HTML, body, div, section, article, form, div, and we can select out any one of these parents. So if we want to go way all the way up to the HTML, we can select those different parents, and this is descending from the current order, so it's starting out with the current and ordering out larger and larger and larger as we change to the different parents. So all this was doing was currently console logging that out. So let's actually make something happen within the page, because we do have that element selected, and now we can specify parent, and I'll show you what the difference between parent and parents is coming up. So we'll see CSS. And this is, we are going to be going over the CSS as well coming up in the next lessons. But for now, this is just how we can quickly add some CSS styling, and maybe we want to make it all the parent background color red. So let's refresh this, type something in there, and now we see we made the background color of the parent red. So these are the two parents, or the two parents of the single parent of the current item. So this is just moving up one level, and if we change this to parents, so what do you think is going to happen here if I set the background color to all the parents to be red? What do you think is going to happen? When I refresh it and click it, we see that all of the parents now have those properties. So just like what we're finding all the children that, or all the different elements from the My Forum that have an input, we can also do this with other elements as well. So we can find all the children. So let's pick one that's fairly high level. So take wrapper. And over here, we're going to list out all of the information that's contained within wrapper. So this is an ID selection, so maybe let's just do all the children first that are available within the wrapper. And we should console log this out so we can see them. Let's open up our browser, and now we see that we get all of this information here available within the console. So we're consoling, logging out what the contents of the wrapper are. It probably would be better if I do a console directory. It's maybe a little bit more readable. Let's go back out and refresh that again. So now we've got our directory there. We see we've got a length of 2 for the children, and we've got some additional information here on those children. Also try to apply some styling to those children. So whenever this loads, so children, and we're going to try some background, so CSS, and maybe we can make them yellow so that they stand out. So this will allow us to identify the children. And I did have a mistake there because I need to do the rounded brackets to get the method values. So that's so now we see that we've got them all. So we've got the 6 children essentially there, and so we've got sections, and we've got the footer, and now we've made them all yellow so that they stand out even more. And additionally, we can kind of look through the console here and get some more information. So on there, the children's children, we can see more information. We can see this one's children, and so on. And we can really dive deep into what's available within our HTML elements and really pick out and isolate out the different elements that we want to work with. So always remember that we do need to have those curly brackets or those rounded brackets, just like we do up here, in order to specify the method and utilize JQuery in order to return those values back. So in the next lesson, we're going to look at how we can look at siblings and move to the next element and so on. So that's coming up, how we can traverse through those in the upcoming lesson.